Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to another episode of the From the Booth podcast. My name is Michael, and I am going to give you guys my instant reaction to the Super Bowl. Obviously, Chiefs just won 38-35. It was a great Super Bowl, had a lot of great moments, a lot of ups and downs. Definitely, in my opinion, one of the better Super Bowls we've seen. This game definitely did not disappoint. But before we kind of get into that, let's go ahead and remind you guys, please, to subscribe if you're new. I've had an influx of views the last few days. It's really been boosting my ego and confidence, so I appreciate that from you guys. And like this video if you like what I have to say, and if your team won. If you're a Chiefs fan, congratulations. If you're an Eagles fan, please don't burn down the city of Philadelphia. Very sorry about that, but I mean, you guys got really close. I mean, to get that close to Patrick Mahomes is incredible. To make it to the Super Bowl is incredible. Jalen Hurts is a baller, which we'll get into more into Jalen Hurts obviously later. But I mean, you guys got your quarterback. You got you're set up pretty good. So let's get right into it. So obviously, first quarter, Eagles, like I said, received the ball, went down right down the field, scored a touchdown, punched it in with Jalen Hurts and that QB sneak, and that QB sneak was pretty unstoppable, for the whole game, as it's been all season. But especially in this game, I felt like every time the Eagles ran it, it was just an auto, 2-3 yards conversion. And obviously Jalen Hurts punched it in. Next drive, Patrick Mahomes goes down the field. Travis Kelce for the touchdown. Looked like it was going to be a shootout, and to be completely fair, it pretty much was a shootout. The Eagles and Jalen Hurts specifically looked unstoppable in this game, and their offense showed why they were the best in the NFC all year. They marched on the field. Jalen Hurts was putting dot after dot after dot. It felt like Devontae Smith was open on every play. Ends up hitting that big shot to AJ Brown where he just that was kind of one of those just fuck it. AJ Brown's down there somewhere moments, and AJ Brown bodied two guys, came up with it, scored a touchdown again. It was literally I believe it was the first play of the second quarter, so that was great. And then the Chiefs scored obviously in that drive, but it was all Philadelphia in the second quarter. 17 points to go into halftime up by 10. And, then Rihanna comes onto the field. Rihanna kills it. My queen, she did great. All the stage work. And, obviously I think the buzz on social media is Rihanna pregnant? Really, that's not what I was focused on. I was focused on Rihanna's beautiful vocals. But enough of that, because you guys are here to talk about the Super Bowl. Coming out of the second half, the Chiefs were down 10. They kind of knew that they needed a spark. And they needed that kind of push, right? So in typical Patrick Mahomes fashion, he goes down 10 points in a playoff game or in a Super Bowl game, and he just doesn't give a fuck. He was out there slinging it. He actually, what I forgot to mention is right before halftime, he actually re-injured his leg, and I thought that was a death sentence. I was thinking, there's no way he's done. He's cooked, right? If he can't move, whatever. And that boy was running buck wild in the second half. There was that meme I saw on Twitter that Greg Jennings Madden clip where he's like holding his leg and like hobbling. I mean, that was basically Mahomes. Mahomes was scurrying down the field. He was creating first downs. He was running away. I think it's actually crazy. The Eagles' pass rush was pretty much a non-factor in this game. And one thing you saw in the Buccaneers Super Bowl against the Chiefs was their pass rush was the difference in that game. They hounded Mahomes, and Mahomes just really couldn't do shit. And this was not the case in this Super Bowl. The Eagles, I'm going to look at the stats right here, but I believe they only got one sack, if that. Let me go ahead and, yeah, so, I mean, just crazy, like, crazy good work by the Chiefs offensive line to allow Patrick Mahomes to be Patrick Mahomes. But, yeah, that really made the difference. The Eagles' defensive line was a non-factor in this game for the most part. And, their secondary was, I don't want to say it seemed that they had blown assignments or blown coverages, but there was Chiefs just butt booty naked open all over the place. And, I do think that's credit to Mahomes and Andy Reid and how well they scheme up and how intelligent they are and everything like that. But it was phenomenal. I mean, on the Sky Moore touchdown and the Kadarius Toney touchdown, it was just like wide open. Like any person who's ever touched a football could have completed those two throws. And that's not me dissing Mahomes. That's me saying that the scheme and the play design was just perfection on those plays. Speaking of one of those last touchdowns, let's talk about Kadarius Toney. Kadarius Toney, traded from the Giants this year, really was kind of a non-factor in New York. Showed glimpses of being electric and a playmaker. And he's had some good moments with the Chiefs, but you really were just kind of waiting for him to break out and have his big game-changing play. And what better time to do it than in the Super Bowl? In terms of receiving, had one reception for 5 yards and that touchdown. That was his only catch of the game. So receiving end didn't do much. But the biggest play, and the play that, in my opinion, won the Chiefs the game, was that punt return. I mean, he took that ball all the way to the 5-yard line and really put the Chiefs in a great position. And they ended up scoring on that drive, obviously. So Kadarius Toney was a key playmaker in this game. Speaking of, key plays, I would be remiss to not mention the Jalen Hurts lost fumble for a touchdown. Now, before I kind of get slandered or get called a Jalen Hurts hater, you guys know I love Jalen Hurts. And 99% of the time, Jalen Hurts was a fucking baller in this game. Had 3 rushing touchdowns, threw for another one, threw for over 300 yards. And if you guys followed me, you guys know that I said to bet under on Jalen Hurts passing yards. I think I said under 240, and he was blowing that out of the water. Like, the dude was dotting everybody up. So congrats to Jalen Hurts. Hats off to him. But at the same time, that fumble that was not caused by anybody, it just fell out of his hands. You give the Chiefs a free touchdown, you're really not going to beat them, dude. I'm sorry. Like, you cannot just give the Chiefs, led by Patrick Mahomes, a free touchdown in the Super Bowl. For a game that was decided by 3 points, that's big. Now, did that lose him the game? No, not necessarily. But, again, when you're in that last situation with the Chiefs and you're tied and now you can drain Philly's clock and you only need a field goal, that fumble comes back to bite you in the ass. So, hats off to Jalen Hurts. Played a great game for the most part, but that fumble just, it just was the difference in this game. Like I said, looking at the stats, Jalen Hurts, 304 yards, a touchdown, no picks. Jalen Hurts, 15 carries, 70 yards, 3 touchdowns. Like, the dude was awesome on the ground. He was great on the ground. Similarly, I mean, Patrick Mahomes was great on the ground as well. Patrick Mahomes averaged a lot more yards per carry. He had 6 carries, 44 yards. Again, I don't know how he did it, but he was just hobbling and he was toughing it out and gritting it out. And, just pushed his way through. He toughed his way out through it. Let's go down again and look at receiving. Devontae Smith, A.J. Brown, both had big days. I told you to bet A.J. Brown over 100 yards. This close. This freaking close. He had 96. He had 6 for 96 in a tutty. Had that one, again, 45-yard bomb like I was telling you guys about earlier where he just bodied the 2 dudes. And then Devontae Smith, over 7 receptions, exactly 100 yards, 14.3 yards per catch. Dallas Goedert, 6 for 60. I mean, those are good numbers from you guys. Kenneth Gainwell, 4 for 20. Nice. I did put bets on Dallas Goedert over 3 and over 4 catches. Those both cashed out for me. Appreciate that.
We all have obstacles, challenges.
That caught me by surprise. And then, for the Chiefs, we got Travis Kelce, 6 for 81 and a touchdown in that first drive like I was telling you guys about. Juju Smith, who really, showed up in the second half. He really, came to play. 7 for 53 and 6.6 yards per catch. I think he had probably 4 or 5 of his catches in the second half from the whole game. One guy that really disappointed me, Marquez Valdes-Scantling. I told you guys to bet his receiving yards, and bro was just out there doing cardio. He didn't do shit. I don't even think I saw him, except for on that one play where either he misjudged or Mahomes just a little overthrew that sideline route. Other than that, I don't even think I saw the motherfucker the whole game. So, bro, congrats on all them calories you burned, but you didn't really do shit in the Super Bowl, unfortunately. Another disappointment to me was Miles Sanders. Miles Sanders was really a non-factor in this game, and for a rush-heavy team like the Eagles, it's very disappointing. Miles Sanders, I think he had that fumble on that first drive that fumbled out of bounds, but I don't know, maybe he was just in the doghouse, maybe whatever. Really just never got anything going. I mean, only got 7 carries for 16 yards. He was the 3rd leading rusher on his team. I don't know. That's not running back. No, that's not running back 1 production. And again, he's not going against the 85 Bears. The Chiefs' defense is vulnerable at the very least. But averaging 2.3 yards per carry, catching no passes. I mean, bro had 16 yards in the Super Bowl. That's tragic. He also had that other play where he caught it and took 2 steps, got his shit rocked, fumbled. The guy scooped and scored. I believe it was also Nick Bolton, who would have had his second fumble 6 of the game, which would have been really funny. But it was ruled incomplete. I actually thought it should have been a fumble because to me he had 2 feet down. But I do understand the point of him not having made a football move, which I get, but I still think it's a dumb move because to me he had possession. But whatever. But man, Miles Sanders was a real disappointment to me. One guy that impressed me, Isaiah Pacheco, 15 for 76, 5.1 and a tud. He seemed like he was just running angry the whole game, which is what he's been doing all year. In fairness, he's been running angry. He was bringing a new dynamic to that Chiefs offense. And I said this when I was watching Super Bowl. I said if the Chiefs have that guy at running back, the league better watch out because that's been their one like kryptonite thus far is that they can't run the ball. It's similar to like what the Bills their kryptonite is. If they can run the ball, if they can chew the clock, if they can end games, the league's cooked. Unfortunately, I fear. So Isaiah Pacheco did a really good job. But yeah, so and then obviously that I think the biggest controversy of the game, the one that has the Twitter world in a shitstorm, which one is it not in a shitstorm, but the one that has Twitter in a shitstorm is that last holding call on James Bradbury on Juju Smith-Schuster, which gave the Chiefs a first down on 3rd and 8, allowed them to absolutely kill the clock and then kick the field goal and make it 38-35 with about 8 seconds left, I believe. That was a holding call. And I hate to see games, especially games that are as good as this, come down to that. But I mean, it's the right call. I mean, Juju knew it. James Bradbury himself knew it. It's the right call. So what do you want the refs to not call the right call? Do you want them to just ignore key penalties? Like, I don't understand what you want the refs to do. I actually thought the officiating was very good in this game, so I didn't have a problem with it. But, yeah, shit happens, right? Part of that benefit to having Mahomes is the fear factor that it gives defenders. He held them, gave the Chiefs a first down. They killed the clock. Jerick McKinnon almost scored. It was very reminiscent of, for those of you guys out there who watched the 2011 Super Bowl with the Giants and the Patriots, the Ahmad Bradshaw touchdown where he just sat down. Very reminiscent of that. And then at the end of the game, the Hail Mary that Jalen Hurts threw, they kind of felt discombobulated on the last play of the game. I don't know if Jalen Hurts didn't have the arm strength to throw it, 70 yards, which is not an easy task. But I don't know if they weren't prepared for a Hail Mary scenario type thing or what. But to me, it seemed like, I don't know, he didn't really, I don't know. I'm not gonna comment because I don't know. But yeah, they didn't seem to have much of a chance on that last play. So, but yeah, so again, 38-35, Patrick Mahomes becomes the first quarterback to win the MVP and the Super Bowl in the same year since Kurt Warner in 1999. At this point, what the fuck hasn't Mahomes done? He's got 2 MVPs, 2 Super Bowls, 2 Super Bowl MVPs, made the All-Pro team. Dude's done everything. And we are witnessing the ascension of the greatest quarterback of all time. And yeah, I said it. Yes, I did. When it's all said and done, Patrick Mahomes will be more highly regarded than Tom Brady. He will have a better career than Tom Brady, and I know this sounds crazy. Maybe he won't have 7 Super Bowls, but you got to understand that, Super Bowls are a lot, but they're not everything, right? So Mahomes might end with fucking 10 MVP awards, right? I mean, that's the path he's going down. The only threat to the Chiefs dynasty, and this is the other crazy thing that I was thinking about on the way home from the party. The fucking Chiefs, man, they trade away their best receiver, maybe in the whole league. They maybe trade away the best receiver in the whole league. And what happens? Most teams will crumble, but the Packers' offense crumbled when they traded Devontae Adams, right? The Chiefs, nothing. Mahomes wins the MVP, and the Chiefs win the Super Bowl. How people don't realize how insane that is. Like for Juju, and I understand Travis Kelce's great, right? Travis Kelce's great, cool. To have Juju Smith-Schuster as your wide receiver 1, and Sky Moore and Kadarius Toney and MVS who puts up 0 fucking yards in the Super Bowl, to have that as your top wide receiver and be as good as he was, that's insane. Like that's just insane. So my hats off go to Mahomes. And Eagles fans, obviously I've been there as a Seahawks fan. Losing a Super Bowl isn't fun. But keep your head up. You got your guy, you got your quarterback, you got your coach, you got guys around him. My only concern if I'm an Eagles fan is the defense getting a little old. Maybe if Jason Kelce retires, you might need a center. But I think Landon Dickerson would slide in pretty well at center. But regardless, I think both of these teams, I would not be surprised if we get a rematch next year. I don't think that the NFC is very good. I don't think there's a lot of threats in the NFC. So if the Eagles can remain relatively healthy, and I think that I think they have no problem coming back to the Super Bowl. Speaking of health, I do want to mention Jalen Hurts' shoulder, and that was a big part of my reasoning for taking his under on passing yards was I wasn't sure how his shoulder looked. He wasn't great in the NFC Championship game. I was thinking, does he need, more than 2 weeks to kind of get back to 100%? He looked fine. He looked fine. He didn't have any issue absolutely bombing down the field, except for like that last play. And he really didn't have many accuracy problems during this game. Like I said, he was great. He was fantastic. Completed 27 out of 38. That's like, I can't do quick math to save my life. That's like, roughly 75%. That's like 73, 72%. So that's really good, obviously. And then Mahomes completing 77% of his passes, like, obviously great as well. But so that's kind of my instant reaction to the Super Bowl. Really, really good game. Lived up to the hype. Came down to the wire, which people are going to be disappointed by the holding call, but it's football. You got to call it. So hope you guys enjoyed this video. Like I said, if you guys enjoyed, please make sure to subscribe to the channel. I don't normally post videos on Sunday, but I figured, everybody's going to be all up in arms about the Super Bowl, so I might as well say something. I might as well talk about it, get you guys my instant reaction. And I hope you guys enjoyed, and I hope you guys have a good rest of your weekend in the hour and a half that remains of it, and have a good week. I will see you guys tomorrow with a video, and Tuesday with an episode of the podcast. Talk to you guys later. Peace out.